So tonight we're going to do a little speed video on sausage making using our Meet Your Maker equipment. So as you can see here, I have a container full of exactly 25 pounds of deer venison. So that means I'm going to do a 20% ratio of fat to venison. Some people may do 25, I like 20. And so we're going to add 5 pounds of pork fat to this. And so let's cube it up and take a look. So you can see that we want our venison to be almost frozen. That way it's good and stiff as we put it through the hopper to grind. And we're going to make our cubes just small enough to fit through the throat of the hopper. Okay, so total of 30 pounds of meat. That's 25 venison, 5 pounds of pork fat. Divided it in two. And as you can see, I have added my spices. Actually, for the total 30 pounds of meat, I've done a little less than 3 cups of the spice. So not an exact measurement there. I can tell you it's somewhere around 2.5 cups, but we'll see. Never done this before, so I'll have to report back at the end of the video, let you know how this tastes. Okay, we're about to start grinding for your Meet Your Maker equipment. That's the larger grinding thing, whatever they call that. We'll use the smaller one on the second grind. And here we go. Not going to film the whole thing, but we'll give you the general idea here. Be careful not to get your hands in the tube, of course. They do make a plastic thing that can assist you with this. And of course, you know, a little common sense and you'll be okay. You just don't want to be sticking your hands down in there. But so far, getting a really good grind with this cold meat. Using a few there. Apologize for the shaky camera, but I do not have a tripod, so this is as best as I can do at the moment. Okay, so finished the first grind. I'm now ready for the second grind while the meat is good and cold. I did put in for the second grind the smaller grinding filter, which we're about to use. Got the plastic thingamabob to help me push it through. So as soon as I'm done grinding, I'll come back and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so as you can see, recruiting my daughter to film. Thank you, honey. The grind is much finer with that sausage filter, and I am using this plastic plunger because you just about have to with this. The chunks will fall down in there, but the first grind on the hamburger meat did not. So now that we've finished our grind, we're going to tumble the meat. This is probably necessary to add moisture. Some people even put their spices in at this time. I put mine in before I did my grind. So either way is fine, but I think the main purpose of the tumbling is to bind the fat and proteins in the meat, as well as add some moisture. So let's see how the tumbling goes. Okay, so as we mix, or as I sometimes refer to it, tumbling the meat, we're gonna add total of about 5 cups of water to 25 pounds of meat. That's about 1 cup per 5 pounds, obviously. And so let's take a quick look at this process. So we've gotten a good bond with the fat and the meat. I'm not going to touch it because it's my bare hands, a little sticky, but it is tacky. You can basically scoop it up, it'll stick to your hand, and that's when you know that it's pretty much bonded and ready to go. You just don't want it to become a slimy mess. And the key to that is keeping the meat very, very cold. So put this meat in the refrigerator or some way to keep it within, say, 33-degree range. So I'll go ahead and show you what we're looking for on the meat. You can see that that's a little tacky. That's what we're looking for in regards to not being slimy, but bonding the protein and the fat. Okay, so now I have the sausage stuffing filter on. I do not have the blade in there. There's a little confusion from Meet Your Maker about whether or not to have that in there, so we're going to give this a shot. And I have on the 33mm sausage tube. Okay, now that we've finished tumbling the meat, we are ready to start stuffing our sausage. You can see I have my casing, 33mm casing and tube, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so far so good. I've gotten a few twists on my links here. I did have one blowout on my 4th link, so I just reprocessed that. A couple of things I've found here in regards to the Meet Your Maker sausage machine. I love it, it's working great. For this process, it does help a lot just to use this to push the meat in, not so much for safety, but just convenience, although it is safer as well. And also down here at bottom, the foot pedal. Loving the foot pedal. I could not do this with one person without the foot pedal. And I do like this clear tube because you can see it as it feeds through. So far, this is just easy as it gets. Just medium pressure on that casing to keep it from blowing out. Okay, I think we're at the end of this casing. So, good time to film, and I'm going to reverse it to get the pressure off. And we'll go ahead and, oh, tore it. That's okay. We'll seal this one up. So just a quick tip here. If you do have one of the casings bust halfway through or whatever, you can always just go ahead and clip it, squeeze a little bit of the meat out, and use some butcher string to seal up the end, and that way you don't lose that link. So here's the final step in our sausage making process. We're going to vacuum seal this bag, and I'll pick back up as soon as we're close to the end of the vacuum seal process. So vacuum seal is almost done, and now we're going through the heat seal. Takes about 3 seconds for that. And then the lid will open automatically, but I've been very happy with this Meet Your Maker vacuum sealer. And there we go. We're gonna let this vacuum sealed sausage join his friends in the freezer. And here we go, another successful deer season that represents 1 buck and 1 doe. Good eating.